Hey guys, welcome to my video where I'm going to do a breakdown analysis of the upcoming Rooster Division at the IBJJF Pan Championships, which is going to happen this coming weekend. Last year's Pan Championships was won by Tarson Suarez, but he's opted not to compete this year, so we're going to see a new Pan champion in 2025. This video is going to highlight the people in the division you need to pay attention to and then make predictions based on their recent competition performances and previous results as to how the division is going to go. So without further ado, let's get into it. This division is relatively small with only 10 competitors, but out of these 10 competitors, 6 of them are ranked in the top 10 by the IBJJFrankings.com ELO system set up by Dan Lukehart. So it's a very talent-rich division despite being small. The 6 athletes who compete in are marked above by a green tick. So we've got Carlos Babito, Everton Teixeira, Wilson Concalves, Jalen the future financier, Yuri Hendricks, and Bruno Cordero Senna. The favourite in this division is probably Carlos Babito. He's last year's world champion, and he was also last year the first man to win both Adult Worlds and Masters Worlds in 1 year. He's known for his really good close guard game. He's got dynamic passing and has some really nice passes, especially versus the Spider Lasso, which is something you're always going to run into in this division. However, since Worlds in the adult division, he's won some and he's lost some at the locals, always against good opposition. And he's faced a few of the people in this division, winning some and losing some. It'll be interesting to see how the tournament goes for him. This will be like his first gi major since he won the world title, to see if he can carry on that form. Babito's an extremely tough matchmate in the division. You never really see anyone dominate him, and he's beat a lot of the big names over the years, taking out people like Tarson Suarez in the final of Pans in 2022. So I imagine anyone who faces him in this tournament is going to be a super hard match for them. There's a lot of people here that I think could present him a few problems, so it's going to be really interesting to see if he's able to have the same success. Now let's look at some other top contenders in this division. A name I'd really like to highlight is Everton Teixeira. Fairly recently promoted black belt, he got promoted in 2023 after coming second at Brown Belt Worlds, and since then he's been on an absolute tear at Rooster weight, twice winning Nogi Worlds and winning almost every tournament he's been in. He's only lost once in the division actually to Babito at last year's Worlds, and only lost twice overall, losing a rest decision and a match by advantage up at light feather. So really he's looked fantastic since he's been promoted. However, other than last year's Worlds, we've not got to see him compete at any gi major since being a black belt, so this will be only his second gi major. So it'll be really interesting to see if the success he's had at the local tournaments, the no-gi tournaments, if he'll be able to translate that to this tournament. He's really good on both top and bottom, really good at passing, especially in the gi, and he's faced a lot of the people in this division before, whether it's at the coloured belts or in no-gi. For instance, he's had a match at the World Championships this year in no-gi with Jalen, future another name we're going to highlight, and you can see at the end of the match here where he's up just one advantage, and he manages to not give up a single advantage in the scramble right at the end, which would have lost in the match. So it'd be fun if these two maybe face again in the gi at the tournament. So Everton and Babito had a match at last year's Worlds, which Babito won by rest decision, which I think is really instructive of how closely matched all the top competitors in this division are. If we look at this clip on the screen right now, Everton sets up the worm guard from single leg X and then rolls to bottom and is able to almost mount Babito, but this happens out of bounds, so he doesn't really get any points. Then later in the match, Babito is able to score a flurry of advantages from this De La Hiva overhead sweep. So, if one different thing changed in this match, the winner could have been very different, and we would have had a different world champion, which I think was super interesting about this division at Pans this year. I feel like so many people could do well, because whenever these guys face, it's super, super close, which is, exciting. I think it's more exciting when you don't know who's going to win the division for sure. Another top contender is recent Europeans champion Yuri Hendricks. Formerly of Cicero Costa, he recently switched to Melky Gaval's school. He's a super tough athlete. He has wins over people like Tarson Suarez, who beat last year's World Pro, and he's a former Brazilian national champion. He's got really tricky lapel guard and seems to have got really good at the cross grip passing, which he utilised in both his matches to great effect to slow down and neutralise his opponent's guards. In the Europeans, the Europeans was a bit of a breakout performance for him. He's probably less known to a Western audience before that, so it's really cool to see him getting the recognition he deserves, because he's been competing at a high level and to great success for a while now. So I'm sure him and his teammate Baby Shark will be looking to repeat their back-to-back gold medal feat they achieved at Europeans. The next top competitor is Jalen, the future financier, last year's brown belt world champion and runner-up at this year's Europeans in what was his first gi major as a black belt. He's got a super exciting style, attacking lots of submissions from his guard. He's really good on the choi bar, arm drags and berimbolos. He's been a big prospect since he was a kid. I remember seeing videos of him on Cabrina's YouTube years ago, so it'd be cool to see if he can realise his potential as a black belt in his second major. A big storyline heading into this year's Pans is the potential rematch between Jalen and Yuri. These two fought in the finals of Europeans, and it was a super close match, with Yuri winning by 2 points despite giving up 6 advantages. He scored two early on in the match, and then Jalen was like electrifying the crowd with really exciting submissions from bottom and like chaining his moves together, choi bars, into leg attacks, into back takes and stuff. And the end of the match is a bit controversial. You'll see it in a second. You're watching the clips right now of Jalen attacking. The end of the match was a bit controversial because Jalen was awarded two, but then the referees waved it off, which meant that Yuri was able to win the match. It's a super close and exciting match. So it's really fun that these two may have another match in Pans, and we can see if it's as exciting as this one, if Yuri's able to win again and control the distance, so if it's cross-grip passing, or if Jalen's able to finish one of these submissions or take the back or something. It goes to show again like how close all these matches are in the Rooster division. It's like so hard to consistently win here because everybody's so evenly matched. It's really hard to predict who's going to win at Pans. Now let's look at the dark horses of the division. The first is Bruno Senna, like an underrated grappler. He's really good. He came third at the 2023 Worlds, losing a super close match to Everton, and since he's got his black belt, he's done really well at the locals both in America and Brazil, winning at both Rooster and Light Feather. On the screen right now are clips from two of his matches with Babito, one of whom he was able to win, and the other he lost a super close match where like the deciding factor, which you'll see on the screen, was like a sweep that he kind of hit out of bounds that didn't result in any points. He did both Pans and Worlds last year, coming third at Pans and not medaling at Worlds, losing to the same man at both, Rodney Barboza, who's absent from this year's tournament. So this could be his chance to break out and win a major. He's really good. He's got a super tricky lapel guard. He even tried to do it in an absolute on Adam Wodzinski. So it'll be fun to see him compete. Another dark horse in the division is Tadeo Danforth. He's got a super tricky guard. He's really good with the submissions from bottom like choi bars, and he's got a good footlock. He has a super close match at Europeans with Yuri Hendricks, which he lost by a last second advantage. And he also had a really close match with Andrew Suarez at Worlds. So he could present a problem for a few people in the Pans division for sure. The final wildcard is perennial Roosterweight contender Welson Goncalves. He's been around for a long time, it feels like, and he's medalled multiple times at Europeans and Brazilian nationals. He always presents a tough match for whoever he's facing in the Roosterweight division. He's got like a well-rounded style, like good at most of the things that most of the Roosterweights are good at, like tricky guard, can play a bit of berimbolos and stuff. This could be his chance to maybe win his first black belt major and have a breakout performance if everything goes to plan for him. I've looked at all the major players in the division. I'm going to get the brackets up on screen and I'm going to give my predictions for how I think the division is going to go. So let's get to that right now. Now let's start making some predictions. So in the top left-hand corner, we've got Samuel Marquez versus Lima. I don't really know who's going to win this match, but I think whoever wins this match will probably lose the next match to Babito. Then down in the bottom left, we've got Michael the Future versus Bruno Senna. This is a super exciting match. These two have never faced before. I'm going to say that I think Bruno's going to win. A slightly more experience at the highest level, like black belt in the gi, and I think he'll be enough to edge the Future in like a really close match. On the other side, top right, we've got Everton versus Lucas Souza. These two have fought a bunch, gi and no gi. It's actually the final of no gi Worlds. Everton's always won, so I imagine he's going to win that match. And then he's going to go on to face Yuri Hendricks, which again, super close match. But I actually think that Everton's going to be able to win, you know? Like, he's got good sweeps. Like, he can, not just attacking from bottom, like with submissions, he's got really good sweeps. So I imagine he'll be able to sweep Yuri. He'll probably come on top and try and do, like, some of the crazy dog passing. And then I think Everton will be able to survive on top or start passing with his, like, outside passing, which is really good. Then on the bottom, we've got Wellison versus Tadeo. I think this will be, like, another close match. I don't see Wellison being able to, like, pass Tadeo's guard. So I think it's going to be like a very strategic one who finishes on top in like a sort of sweep battle. Now into the semi-finals. So the first semi-final will be Bruno Senna versus Babito. I imagine Bruno's going to win this one. In the matches they've had, Bruno's looked like the more superior grappler, I think. Like even the match he lost, he came very close to winning the match with that like 50-50 sort of like scramble. So I think he's going to win and progress to the final. And then on the other side, we're going to have Everton versus either Wellison or Tadeo, in my opinion. I think Everton's going to win that match. I think he's really good, and I think he's going to be able to win that one and progress to the final. So then in the final, it's going to be Bruno versus Everton, which is going to be a repeat of the semi-finals of 2023 Brown Belt World. Just super close match, very tactical, like winning on sweeps and stuff like that. So I think probably I'm going to just say the same person wins Everton. But what's exciting about this division is, even though I'm predicting Everton to win, I think everyone in the division is very talented. and quite evenly matched. And a lot of the matches they've had in the past are very close, with like an advantage or 2 points deciding who wins. So I think like really anything could happen here, because one little difference of advantage, one person messing up their guard pool, one like out of bounds scramble will change the winner of a match. Overall, this is a super talent-rich division, despite not having loads of registrants. I'm like super excited to watch it, and then hopefully next year I'll be able to compete, and I'll be back and I'll be able to win. If I have a more clear-cut prediction like you, I'll be like, I'll definitely win, as opposed to this person might win. Okay. Hope you enjoyed my kind of ramblings here. It's a bit weird speaking to a computer. But yeah, hope you enjoyed it, learned something, and you're now as excited to watch the Rooster Division at Pans as I am. Make sure next weekend you're watching the Pan Championships on Flow Grappling. There's this division and lots of other good divisions to watch. If you enjoyed this analysis, I also have a Patreon where I post technique videos and breakdowns of matches and stuff. Like here you can see some of the technique videos I've recently uploaded, looking at past an underhook de la Hiva. And then I also have some collections of more analysis like this, like a breakdown of my 2023 World's Gold Medal run, where I commentate all the matches and break them down, and also an analysis of the 56 kilogram division at the recent World Pro, where I look at the winners' runs and the techniques they use, what they could have done better, what they did great, and all that sort of stuff. This sort of thing can interest you, I'll put a link to my Patreon in the bio, and feel free to check it out.